Hello. Today I will be telling you a long-ass history of Android. I'm Microsoft Sam, and I look like Biggs Richards. Anyways, let's get started, but some information may be outdated in the future. But I will be updating it. Anyways, let's start it with the beta of Android. The beta of Android was announced in 2007, used by the first ever smartphone that may run on Android, HTC Dream. Some people may think it stinks, but I have one. It features the earlier features that Android may have. A Google that you may open, dual SIM, Wi-Fi, and MMS. It's a weird thing gone with Google Play Store. It's called Android Market, before Android 2.0 got released. At 2008, before Android 1.0. There's a beta of it, called Android 0.9. Android 0.9 was released on the 18th of August 2008, along with the respective SDK for app developers. It is the first version to use Android 1.0. It also adds many of the sounds and ringtones found in 1.0, albeit mostly in stereo, as opposed to mono. It is the final experimental version of Android operating system. Android 1.0 is the first stable version of Android released on the 23rd of September 2008. The first device to use it was the HTC Dream. It still has DevTools and a new program called API Tools. It features Android Market web browser that supports HTML and XHTML while supporting multiple pages known as cards. Camera support, but lacked the option to change the resolution. Folders allowing the grouping of a number of application icons into a single folder icon in the home screen. Google Contacts syncing with the People application. Google Calendar syncing with the Calendar application. Google Maps with Street View to view maps and satellite images, and GPS support. Google Search allowing users to search the internet and phone applications, contacts, calendar, etc. Google Talk instant messaging, instant and text messaging, and MMS support. Media Player, enabling management, importing, and playback of media files. However, this version lacked video and stereo Bluetooth support. Notifications appear in the status bar, with options to set ringtone, LED or vibration alerts. Voice dialer allows dialing and placing of phone calls without typing a name or number. Wallpaper allows the user to set the background image or photo behind the home screen icons and widgets. A YouTube video player. Other apps such as alarm clock, calculator, dialer, phone, home screen, launcher, and pictures gallery. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth support. Android Market beta was removed. Android 1.1 is an update to Android 1.0, released on 9 February 2009. It has various bug fixes and new features such as adding details and reviews to businesses in the Maps app and adding support for saving attachments from MMS.
Android 1.5 R1 is a build of Android 1.x that was released on 27 April 2009. This build was based on Linux kernel 2.6.27, and was the first version to use a dessert as a codename, named Cupcake. This update includes several improvements, and UI changes, and features. Support for third-party virtual keyboards with text prediction, and user diction for custom words. Support for widgets. Miniature application views that can be embedded in other applications. Some receive periodic updates. Video recording and playback in MPEG-4 and 3GP formats. Auto pairing and stereo support for Bluetooth, A2DP, and AVIC profiles. Copy and paste features in the web browser. User pictures shown for favorites in contacts. Specific date/timestamp shown for events in the call log, and one-touch access to a contact card from call log event. Animated screen transitions. Auto rotation option. New stock boot animation. You can now upload videos to YouTube. You can now upload photos to Picasa. Android 1.6 R1, codenamed Donut, was released on 15 September 2009. It is based on Linux kernel 2.6.29 voice and text entry search enhanced to include bookmark history, contacts, and the web. Its features are different. The ability for developers to include their own content in search results. Multilingual speech synthesis engine to allow an Android application to speak a string of text. Easier searching, and are able to view app screenshots in Android Market. Gallery, camera, and camcorder more fully integrated, with faster camera access. The ability for users to select multiple photos for deletion. Updated technology support for CDMA/IFGO, 802.1x, VPNs, and a text-to-speech engine. Support for WVGA screen resolutions. Speed improvements in searching and camera applications. Expanded gesture framework and new gesture builder development tool. The Android One.x series concluded on 26th of October 2009. Now it was replaced by Android 2.x series. Android 2.0 or 2.1 is a version of Android 2.x, which was released on 26 October 2009. It was codenamed Eclair. It has newer features involving with Google. They are ability to use multiple Google accounts, support for Bluetooth 2.1, minor changes to the user interface, support for new screen sizes and resolutions, HTML5 support in the default web browser, calendar app updated, email app updated, on-screen keyboard updated and improved, support for flash, digital zoom, and effects in the camera. Android 2.1, codenamed Eclair, is a version of Android 2.x, released on 12 January 2010 by Google Inc. The first smartphone to use this OS was the first ever Google Nexus. The features are: they added live wallpapers, updated Google Maps. Android 2.2, codenamed Froyo, is a version of Android 2.x, released on 20 May 2010. It uses the codename Froyo, which is short for frozen yogurt. It features stability improvements, bug fixes, installing applications into memory card, support for 720p screens, Flash Player 10.2 support, OpenGLES 2.0 support, integration of a JavaScript V8 engine into the default browser. Android 2.3, codenamed Gingerbread, is a version of Android 2.x, which was released on 6 December 2010. It features small user interface changes, first Easter egg, bug fixes, stability improvements, security updates, support for larger screen sizes and resolutions, WXGA and higher, official support for front-facing camera and 2 or more cameras, support for NFC, and updated voice input. Android 3.0, codenamed Honeycomb, is the earliest version of Android 3.x, which was released on 22 February 2011. It was the first version of Android released only for tablets. The first tablet that used this OS is the Moto Zoom. It features new holographic user interface, new Easter egg, ability to encrypt all user data, multiple browser tabs replacing browser windows, support for dual-core, quad-core, and multi-core processors, updated email app, updated contacts app, updated on-screen keyboard interface, simplified multitasking, bug fixes, stability improvements, and security updates. Android 4.0, codenamed Ice Cream Sandwich, is a version of Android 4.x, released on 18 October 2011 by Google. It uses a revised UI as Android 3.x. It features on-screen buttons from Android 3.x are now available for use on phones, updated calendar app, 1080p video recording for stock Android devices, Android VPN framework, requires root access, make screenshots, bug fixes, stability improvements, security updates, date usage section in settings, improved copy and paste functionality, ability to access applications from lock screen. Android 4.1, codenamed Jelly Bean, is a version of Android 4.x, released on 9 July 2012. It features Google Chrome browser, Google Now, tap-to-pair speaker support, updated notifications, camera apps, bug fixes, stability improvements, security updates. Android 4.4, codenamed KitKat, is a version of Android 4.x, released on 31 October 2013. Android 4.4W is a version of Android 4.x, which was released on 25 June 2014. This build, as are the other 4.4W builds, is optimized for smartwatches and uses the Android Wear branding. It features wearable extensions added, GPS support, offline music playback, updated UI for Google Maps,